Okay, hello everyone, KingslayerKoshy here, and welcome back to Plants vs. Zombies. In the last part, we were killing zombies on our roof, and in this part, we're gonna continue killing zombies on our roof. In the last part, we pretty much got a taste of what's to come on the roof with the pots, the catapults, or plant pults, as I might as well call them, and the pots. And in this part, we're going to be dealing with more zombie onslaught section. At the end of one of the levels, we got ourselves a coffee bean. This is the plant I was referring to when I was talking about how we're gonna get something that'll allow us to actually use said shrooms in the daytime. Now, before we couldn't do anything with the shrooms because eventually, as you're gonna see with the magnet shroom, they're gonna be sleeping. So it's gonna be the base for the shroom plus 75 for the coffee bean in order to wake it up. So we're gonna be using cabbage pults, the catapults, and all the catapults. Although that's the obvious one. But alongside the catapults, we're also going to be using magnet shrooms and the coffee bean combo in order to wake it up and actually use the shrooms to magnet shrooms to actually deal with all the metal enemies. Otherwise, this level will be virtually impossible to beat. Well, it's not impossible to beat. There's probably other ways to do it, but the magnet shroom way is probably the more recommended way to do it. You could probably do it with some extremities like doom shrooms or spamming a lot of stuff like jalapenos, cherry bombs, and all that. Although I think the problem with that is you probably wouldn't have enough sun to actually be able to pull something like that off. And there's me putting another kernel pole in the wrong place like an idiot. Good job, me. And I said, how am I gonna, like, why am I doing this again? I said I like video games, I didn't say I was good at them. Am I sure I'm good at video games? It sure seems I'm not. Whatever. Speaking of video games, I just remembered at the end of one part, I woke up today, and I was watching the news because I got bored. So I looked it up, and I was looking at the news, and it turns out that the first thing I walk into when I'm looking at the news is I'm seeing a little girl trying to play a Game Boy Color and treating it as if it's a goddamn iPhone or smartphone. She's like playing with it, trying to play with it as it's a smartphone, touching the screen as expecting something to happen. After a certain number of points, and she's just eventually just gives up, and I'm just sitting here looking, and I am like the saddest goddamn man alive, and I'm like, why? Have we really fallen this far? Okay, so you probably missed, I missed it. Maybe you weren't paying attention, and I know I wasn't, but basically, that magnet shroom, you're just gonna have to take my word for it, that it was sleeping, and because it's sleeping, it's not gonna be active, so you're gonna want to use a coffee bean. Okay, this time I actually see it, but basically, it's sleeping, so it's not gonna be active, so what you're gonna want to do, use a coffee bean, and wake it up. So basically, now, the strategy from here on out is pretty much, for a good chunk of them, not all of them, is set up a column of magnet shrooms to essentially deal with all of the metal zombies. And now when I have this combo now, the first thing I think of now is the Dorkly cartoon that basically where Magneto is going up against the entire Marvel universe and is pretty much single-handedly destroying them. He's laughing his ass off, saying like, "Oh my god, all of you idiots using metal on me, Magneto, the master of goddamn metal." Like first he sees Captain America come in with his frigging vibranium shield, and he just takes that away, and he's just laughing his ass off. Then Iron Man comes in, gets crunched up. I think, what's the the third was the third one Thanos, or oh yeah, it was Thanos comes in with the Infinity Gauntlet. And then he rips that off from Thanos and is laughing at us like, you made the most powerful weapon in the universe made of freaking metal. How stupid are you people? God, this is depressing. And then afterwards, Hulk is about to come in and beat him up, and he's like, yeah, sure, beat up an old man who suffered in the Holocaust. I'm pretty sure you'll feel good about yourself after that. And Hulk comes, he's like, yeah, I feel uncomfortable now. Oh god, it's probably one of the funnier dark pieces I've seen in a while. First time I've seen Magneto look freaking hilarious. Usually, then again, friggin' X-Men's always been super serious because, you know, Fox owns the freaking rights, and apparently they can't seem to do anything right with whatchamacallit, Marvel franchises that they own. With the exception of Deadpool, but that's only because everybody and Ryan Reynolds was pretty much forcing Fox by the throat to pretty much say, do it our way or you're fucked. And well, at least something good came out of it. Can't wait for Deadpool 2 to come out though. Really excited for that. But in the meantime, yeah, there was that stupid story with the little girl trying to play a Game Boy Color, not realizing that it's not a touchpad. And God, I looked at that, I was cringing. I was so fucking depressed. And it's stuff like that that makes me like not want to be a father or something like that. Among other things. Then again, I'm a very rebellious man, but I like to think my rebellious streak as legit reason. That's beside the point. I can pretty much go on a rant about that if I feel like it, if there's enough interest, if I can find myself good commentary material and I have enough people to actually, you know, give a shit about, give a shit to actually know about that. But honestly, I'm more happy if there's anyone that actually gives a shit enough to actually go out of their way to watch someone's commentary as stupid as mine. Because at the end of the day, I'm pretty much just doing this for shits and giggles, because honestly, like I said, I go to Drexel, I'm pretty much gonna be playing the corporate pawn, I guess you could say. It's when I say things like that, it's just kind of very depressing. It's like, yeah, the purpose of your life is just to, you want to be alone and have a family so that you can pretty much this idea of not being alone and anything like that. I mean, it makes sense, but then again, I'm thinking about it from a friggin' Rick and Morty standpoint, which is the one episode where basically love's just an excuse for men and women to just do it so that they can actually expand their dreams. Break the cycle, Morty. Break the cycle, Morty. Don't be like your parents. Don't be like me. Although honestly, that is a good point. Also, there is an example of the ladder zombies getting slower when they lose their ladders. Also, there's me laughing at the freaking pogo zombies and saying, I am so glad I had this, because fuck the pogo zombies, man. They're probably my least favorite zombies in the goddamn game. They jump over goddamn everything. They're the worst. And they have decent speed too. But yeah, as you can see, there's just one column of magnet shrooms is just pretty much leveling most of these zombies are just getting like friggin' massacred because one like row of magnet shrooms is just getting rid of all the freeing friggin' zombies. Yes, one row of magnet shrooms just get rid of all the big threats, and of course Bungie zombies are still being assholes like they were before, but there we go. And with all this sun that I can't really spend, and as the zombies are eating away in my toilet, And soon enough, as he's dead, I think we'll get access to a watering can. Which is useful for this thing, known as the Zen Garden. Another way to make easy money in this game. Basically, you go into the Zen Garden, you water your plants, and you feed them special fertilizer. You use bug spray fertilizer and a music box to pretty much help the plants grow. And it comes in multiple forms, I believe. Because I believe there's one at the nighttime where you can get one for shrooms, and there's one dedicated specifically to, I think, underwater plants. And meanwhile, so yeah, that's the Zen Garden. That's another easy way to get money. So you can buy plants off of Crazy Dave's shop for cheap, and then afterwards you can sell them back to make profit. You can also get them through doing the minigame stuff as well, so easy ways to do that. But in the meantime, we're, I believe, halfway. Yep, we're halfway there. So with that, now I gotta deal with the frigging whatchamacallit, bungee zombies and walking and zombies where you're just slowly walking their way here. And basically what this level boils down to is putting down pots and planting chompers to pretty much eat away at all the zombies. That's all this level is. Nothing very spectacular. Just keep planting your pots and chop away. God damn it, my allergies are still. At least my sickness is mostly gone, thankfully, but it's still there, which is not fun. But in the meantime, yeah, so yeah, now I'm at the point where I'm pretty much finally accepted my fate about having to, you know, continue with an extra year at Drexel, so now I've finally accepted that fact. So there's that. I mean, the only other spectacular things that have been happening is, I mean, I've been planning to get some more games for the Dreamcast so that I can actually have stuff to play there with the other guys when they come along, for multiplayer and single player purposes. I'm gonna get my payment for the co-op that I was doing over the summer, so that'll be great, especially considering it'll be paid in advance, so I'll actually have cash on hand to maybe go to a convention one day, probably in the summer. Probably might go to any Games Expo that year. Hopefully, if things work out, I can just do part-time stuff and I'll never have to worry so much with okay, I don't know what. Oh, that's what it was. The chompers. If they're right on top of, if the chompers are right on top of them, then yeah. So, okay, make a note. If the chompers are right on top of the chomper, then they won't eat them. But if the chomper is, you have to make sure the chomper is right behind the bungee zombie. If the chomper is on top of the if the bungee zombie is on top of the chomper won't eat it. You have to make sure the chomper zombie's actually behind the zombie. But in the meantime, screw you. And now we got a big problem with in the bot lane with multiple zombies chomping away. I would be excited about the fact that it's senior year and I should be happy, but and we have to spend an extra year, and it's just overall been extremely frustrating. So hopefully when the dust settles I can finally just put this case to a close. And this is where the level starts getting interesting, getting a little bit more chaotic, because they bungee zombies start dropping more whatchamacallit, zombies at a faster rate, so they'll start overwhelming you. But a little strategy you can do is just take out a zombie that's being eaten, a chomper that's swallowing its food, and then afterwards just replace it with a new chomper, just so that you can make the level go faster. I wouldn't recommend you do it all the time, but just do it when you know you can afford to. But yeah. In the meantime, yeah, with that Churd Mom and one last zombie being eaten, gonna shovel out, and there we go. We get some very useful plant, which I'll show off in the next level. See you then.